Hey! Hands in your head! Do it!
Oh, come on. There's no way you really haven't seen The Matrix.
Is it really so hard to believe?
This is one of the best, most mainstream transhumanist movies series in modern cinema. It touches on many of the core concepts of cyberpunk ideology. It has some awesome fight scenes and one of the most memorable lines in all of film.
Whoa.
No, not that one, the other one.
I know Kung Fu.
Written and directed by Lana and Lily Wachowski and released in 1999, this essential cyberpunk film was an overwhelming hit, winning 4 Academy Awards. It spawned a franchise that is one of the rare original concepts to succeed in the last 20 years of Hollywood blockbusters. But the real question is for every cyberpunk, do you really know The Matrix? For those unfamiliar with the core concept of the film, Mr. Tom Anderson, played by Keanu Reeves, is a hacker by the name of Neo. He's obsessed with the cyber terrorist Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne.
At last.
He crosses paths with him and is offered a choice: take the red pill or the blue pill. One pill is a journey down the halls of illusion to see what the world really is, and the other is to wake up back tomorrow in your bed, never knowing the difference. Neo chooses the red pill, which has spawned a cultural meme of its own, and discover humanity and machines are locked in a war that humans are losing. They have clouded the sky to try and eliminate the machine's solar power source, but the machines adapted by using electricity generated by a human battery. The machines began farming humans and keeping their consciousness in a simulated world so their minds function and generate the necessary power. Neo goes on to become the One and embraces his role as a freedom fighter and liberator of the plugged-in world. There is so much to take in from this film, both the philosophical questions it asks and the answers it presents. For starters, sometimes the truth is a much harder reality than we anticipate, and maybe we're better off not knowing the way things really are at one point.
Ignorance is bliss.
At one point, Neo meets other potential candidates for the One. In a scene that touches on modern philosophy, a young monk child holds and manipulates a large spoon, but states that he is in fact doing anything.
There is no spoon.
Is our spines curved to adjust to a society buried in our own phones and computers rather than standing up and staring at the stars? The idea of humanity and technology integrating to the detriment of all humans gets scarier and scarier. To create the brain-bursting visuals that popped off screen, the action scenes in The Matrix had to take weeks to shoot, months to plan, with tons of practical and digital effects being pulled together. The shootout in the lobby is perhaps one of the craziest action scenes in movie history. Neo's cartwheeling between 2 columns while shooting 2 guards with an assault rifle is crazy looking. Concrete patters, sprays in all directions, as Trinity and Neo just cut through the security force like a hot knife through butter. The fight scenes are shot in a subtle way, which makes the audience start to wonder if Neo is in fact the One. Action in The Matrix changed everything. And speaking of changing things, this is one of those things when viewed through the prism of modern times might seem less impressive, but that's just because you don't know the whole story. Originally, the Wachowskis hired a visual effects artist, John Gaeta, to set up a bunch of still image cameras on a simultaneous timer. Then the wire stunts of Keanu Reeves dodging bullets was performed while setting off the cameras all at once. So what we see in the final picture is animation of him ducking under a bullet and waving his arms about. It took an incredible creation of technology and photography to create the 360-degree illusion that Neo can dodge bullets. Once again, the viewer is pulled into the myth that's building, and you go, holy crap, where'd this thing come from? And yet again, you start to believe that maybe this guy Neo is indeed the One. Quite revolutionary, this Matrix creation had its fair shares of imitators, homages, and parodies. Remember the epic cow fight in Kung Power Into the Fist? Yeah, you do. Don't act too cool and act like you don't. You saw it. We all did. It's great. It's a great movie. One of the coolest things about The Matrix is the idea that they can just download things into their mind or onto their body. Neo gets a crash course early on in the movie, and that's where the line, "I know Kung Fu" comes from.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, I know. This allows the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar to download hundreds of fighting styles into their minds, treating it like a file directory of an operating system. Later on, Trinity has to be given the piloting skills for a particular program. They're also able to customize their loadout into the Matrix, choosing how they arm themselves in what is essentially a pre-loadout before entering the program. When Neo and Trinity begin preparing for their assault on the headquarters where the captured Morpheus is being held, they ask for
Guns. Lots of guns.
That's when literally massive racks of weapons breeze into position. Since then, the concept of ordering items that breeze in front of you as you look at them have been used in commercials and all over pop culture, when really, this is the first time it's popped up. And things have added to that since then. We start to see this in our own world. Sure, DoorDash and Postmates apps on your phone isn't quite a Matrix loadout program, but it's a step in the same direction. The Matrix plays with your expectations. Every time the story seems to say, no, Neo's not the one, the Matrix pushes big action in front of your face, and then you think Neo is in real danger, because he isn't the one. And then you realize you've been holding your breath the whole time, and then he does survive, and you start to feel like, maybe he is the one. Whoa.
Whoa.
You say that a lot, don't you? There are tons of small details in the story that the directors keep pointing to. Even though the Matrix looks like our world and feels like our world, it's a simulation. It isn't real. When Morpheus is training Neo and asks,
Think that's air you're breathing now?
you remember, oh yeah, they're not even really fighting, so why is he out of breath? These little tricks of the movie keep the stakes raised in a fascinating way. The film purposely has a greenish tint to it while the characters are in the Matrix. The movie wants your brain to steadily register that you're watching the simulation of a real world through a computer screen, as though you're playing a video game. The groundbreaking franchise sprung out of this completely original Cyberpunk movie. The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions are released a few years later to complete the story of Neo upsetting the status quo between humans and machines. Video games, comic books, and an animated film all center in this universe. A fourth film has been confirmed to be released in December 2021. There is no end to the directions you can take a story in a world so incredibly built. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest Cyberpunk movies, where we tell you what you gotta see.
Only human.
Dodge this.